Okay. Hello everyone. So in this video, I am going to explain how to create database scope credential. So database scope credential are used when any principal calls open row set function with data source or select data from external table that don't access public files. Okay. So in my previous videos, we have seen I created a server label scope credential for all four authorization type. Now in the upcoming videos or in this video, we will again create a credential. A credential means database scope credential for all four authorization type. So first is Microsoft Entra user, then shared access signature, managed identity, then service principal. So here things will be almost same, like how to create a credentials, that will be same. The only extra part will be like we will create our data source, and in that data source we will use that credential. Okay, now we'll see how we are going to do. The first is Microsoft Entra user. Okay, so when we log into Synapse workspace or Azure Data Studio or any other software like Management Studio using Microsoft Entra user. Okay, and if that user already have access of Azure Data Lake Gen 2 account. So in that case, we don't need to create any credential. Okay, user can directly access the file. Okay, now if we are working, if we are looking for database base scope credential, then in this we can create a external data source without creating any credential, and we can access the file that are protected or publicly not available. So simple command, create external data source, source name with location. Let's see practically. Okay, so now assume I logged into my Synapse workspace using this account. Okay, and this account has permission in Azure Data Lake Gen 2 data storage account. Okay, now simply open here, and I have not created any credential. Okay, now let's run this. Create extra. Now let's select the database here. Now Domo Connect I selected. Okay, so before creating a credential, let's come to the Azure Data Lake Gen 2 account container. Okay, first I want to see my source file. Okay, now in the source we have multiples. Come to the retail. No, actually, I'm looking for some Parquet format file. In the raw, let's see whether I have Parquet or not. Okay, so in this, I have a Parquet file, I guess. Okay, I have the Parquet file. Okay, now no need to worry. I want to look for some other files. Or we can access any other file also. It's not mandatory to go for with the Parquet. Okay. So let's I will try to access this CSV file. Okay. Now what we have to do? Simply going to create a external data source. Create external data source name. Okay. So name we should give some appropriate. So I want to access the file of this NYC container. Okay. So let's give the name NYC, or we can give any name. NYC taxi. Okay. Now we need to provide location as well as this container and path. Both are optional. Okay. We can provide a container name as well as we can provide some directory of that container. Okay. But we can leave also. So what will be the impact? So if I create external data source using this location, means including container, then while accessing the file using open row set, I don't need to provide this container name. I can directly provide the path of file, right? But if I use this entire path, okay, let me take some real-time example. So I have to access this file, okay, and I copied the location of this file. Now we can see if I provide only this much, okay, then what happen if user has to access this calendar.csv file, then while running the select command, user has to provide this entire path from nyc taxi dot to calendar.csv, like that. Okay, like that user need to provide this entire path. Okay, but if I include this nyc taxi in location, then user can remove this and user need to provide the remaining path. Okay, so we have to provide a location carefully. Okay, now let's create this. So we successfully created our data source. Okay, now we can access the file. Okay, so we just need to while accessing the file, instead of providing a full path, we just need to provide a data source. Okay, now format is equal to csv. Okay, now let's run this. Okay, schema cannot be determined, no problem. Now let's run this. So we can say it is retrieving the result. Okay, so if we see the data, we can see what is happening here. Our headers comes under rows, so we can make this row as a header. How? Let's see. Now I am just making the first row as a header. Now let's run this. Now we can see the data. Okay, so if we compare with my previous example where I didn't use a data source, then I was using this complete file path in bulk. But when I created a data source, and in the data source, if I provided a reference location, then instead of using this complete file path, we can use this data source, and then we can provide a remaining path in bulk. Okay, so this way we can access the file, okay, using external data source. Now the thing is, in this video I explained database scope credential, but I when we are using Microsoft Entra user authentication type, but I did not create any credential because I logged in using Microsoft Entra user. So whenever we use Microsoft Entra user authentication type, then we don't need to create any credential. The only thing is user must have a permission in Azure Data Lake Gen 2 account. Thank you.